The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing Icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business. From $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters at Real Estate Marketing, Ardor SEO.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate. I'm Tim Calloway. Have a very special guest from you today from out on the West Coast. Scott Coshorn is with the luxury estates team with Rodeo Realty. Scott is actually a legacy, I would say, in the real estate business, coming from a background of a realtor in his family, which I hope to hear about. He's also one of the top realtors in the state of California, and was recently voted by the Wall Street Journal on the 1,000 list out of almost 500,000 realtors in the state of California. Scott's ranked right around 384 and says he's going to keep on climbing. Is that right, Scott?
Yes. Oh, yes. If there's people above me, they better watch out. You know, you gotta keep on moving.
Just grab their ankles on that ladder and throw them off. Right?
That's right. Swim moves, just constant swim moves up.
Right. Keep swimming, buddy. Hey, so interesting story. I like the background story there. I mean, you know, and I kind of I alluded to it, but I'm fascinated by it. And you know, it's always a good, hey, what was your starting point? What was your impetus? And right there, like I said, you're kind of a legacy in real estate, so to speak. Maybe not in California, but I guess it's out of Ohio. Is that right?
Yeah. Small town called Chillicothe is Ohio's first and third capital. For those today, you learn something new. You know?
Write that down.
Well, fun fact.
That might come up on Jeopardy later. What's the story there? I mean, how'd you get started, and let's go from there.
Oh man, well, you know, I graduated from Ohio State, and I moved out here like most people. We live in Columbus when it's April and your ass is still freezing. You're thinking about, you know, is there a better place with better temperatures? You from West Palm probably know that,
right?
So I decided to move out to Los Angeles, but I did it in the pursuit of acting. So I did 15 years of national commercials, did probably 20, 30 national spots over my time and other stuff, which is great. However, my mom, you know, I remember the day, you know, my mom always worked hard. She's always a hustler. Both my parents were blue collar, which, which instilled in me, you know, my mom could probably do more in a day than most people do in a week, you know. Both my parents are passed now, but that legacy is just something that, you know, I live for every day to make them proud. So I remember the day she passed her test, she handed me the letter. We were in her car and pulled over and opened it up and said she passed. She was so excited. And she was, you know, she's the top producer for, you know, her office. When I came out here, you know, I did many years of commercials, but I always knew, you know, that either real estate was an avenue for me. And I started like taking classes and studying about just more investing side. And, you know, when I was younger, I was a little bit more arrogant. You know, I was like, you know, I wanted to be a big investor. And I was like, I'm going to have realtors work for me, you know, which is probably the dumbest thing I would think about, you know, but you live and you learn, right? You know, so had I got my license when I kind of thought about getting it, you know, maybe I'd be retired right now. But, you know, the journey is the journey, and I'm so happy where I am, right? But so it's just something where I always wanted to do it. And my mom was having success, and I was just kind of watching from afar, you know, just, you know, learning a little bit about it. But I just knew it's something, you know, when you're learning about investing, either make your money in real estate or you make it somewhere else and put it in real estate. So that's the avenue for success, right? As far as like proper wealth and being able to get out of the rat race, so they say.
Right.
So, you know, I finally got my license only 8 years ago, but I was in sales, you know, I cut my teeth in sales. You know, when I was doing my acting, I used to serve like everybody else. And I was like, you know, I could probably figure out ways to make more money. I was making good money in a steakhouse, right? Shula Steakhouse from down in Florida, from your area. Yeah. You know, they have one out in the West Coast.
Sure.
And I was always good at sales, but like, there's got to be a way to make some more money and also, you know, do my acting as well. So I ended up getting a job selling trading systems for the futures market. Gotcha. It's automated trading systems. So I was making 1,000 with the $10,000 quote over the phone with very little credibility on it. It's hard to find information about this company. You know, it wasn't snake oil, but it was just, you know, it was just a tough sell. But that's really where I learned how to connect connect and cut my teeth in sales. I mean, that's work ethic. 1,000 phone calls a day on a dialer, that's a lot, right? It's 100% commission based. And I think in the 2 years that I was there, I think 240 people went through the door. They just couldn't make it. And I was like the top
high
producer
attrition, right?
Yeah. Then I kind of ventured into title. I was doing that for a little bit. I actually worked for a tech firm for a little while. Then I started doing title. Then I was like, it's like after learning title, when I was doing title, I kind of like because title is like selling the same bottled water. You just got to make yours taste a little bit better because it's the same price. You can't really do anything with the price. But it's really what value you can add to people. When I was doing that, I was just learning that there's a lot of people. I was putting together like systems and technology and things and plans for agents. And I'm like, what I was finding out is like, a lot of them just didn't really know what to do and they weren't producing much. And like had friends who were agents like, dude, like, what are you doing? If you were an agent, you would be killing it.
Right.
You're like, you're right. And so I got my license and it was like, I'm in my 9th year now. And after my first year, I was top producer and I just kept climbing and never looked back. Right now in this office, I think we did 2.2 billion last year and there's 7 people ahead of me, but these guys have been in the game about 20, 30 years. So,
right.
So I'm coming after them in a good way, but that's just great. So
friendly competition, man. A good competition, sparks hustle. So
yeah, so it's been a journey, but it really did instill with the, what my mom's ethic and just learning about that and just, and also I also found out that I like working my own hours. I tend to actually come in the office earlier and work later, but it's stuff because I'm building my own life, right? I'm not working for somebody else. So that was another key instrument to it. And like, I feel like I'm in the best market in the world, like I'm finally in a vehicle where, it's different every time who you connect with. I meet amazing people. You're selling someone's castle. They're either buying a castle or selling a castle. So there's dream, there's emotions. And that's really important. It's seeing someone smile on their face when you close a deal or negotiate something for them. It's awesome. So that's me when I really learned I'm in the vehicle and that's why I'm thriving in it.
Nice. Well, I know in the liner notes, that you had written to us, you talked about something that I've never really heard of, and and if you want to discuss it, great. If not, we'll move on. But you talk about tactical empathy.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to discuss that.
Okay, fantastic. Because hey, man, I love learning new things, and I'm dying to hear what that's all about.
Yeah, so one thing I find, and I was this way too. So a lot of sunshine and unicorns in this business. Agents try to positively spin everything. There's not really a connection. How many times have agents gone to a listing? People are listening. How many times have you gone to a listing and walk out like, did they like me? Did I get it? You're walking around like, oh, the crown molding's awesome, such a beautiful shag carpet, and you just walk around and like, it's the same dog and pony show all the time. Right. But you're leaving, you never have any idea if they like you, if they're leaning your way, because you don't ask the questions, right? You just kind of wonder, like everyone's done. I've been there many times, but not anymore. But really what tactical empathy is, it is a master's in communication. I haven't gone on a listing presentation. I couldn't even tell you because I have the skills now to I can screen and talk to people and see if they're really interested in me, because believe it or not, they're always leaning a certain direction. So you're either the favorite or the fool. That's kind of the principle that we go by. So you find out if you're the favorite or the fool, and it's just by simply asking questions, connecting with you. Like you always talk to these people like, oh, just give me the number, give me the price, give me this. Like those people are generally, you're not the guy, right? If they're asking that, if they're not engaging with you. If you ask like a vision questions, like how do you see us working together? Or how do you see the process with the agent? Well, if they're not using your name or they're not mentioning you, or like, well, the realtor, most likely, not in all cases, most likely they're not leaning your way. So I would do a screen. I can engage people and see where I am. And I do a gut check, and then if it makes sense, and I'll go. But I don't even pull out a market listing presentation book. It's really just about connecting with them, and what they're looking for on a human level. Not going in sliding about my marketing, because 95% of us have the same stuff that we do. There's things that I do. I know that a lot of agents don't have technology wise, but it's really just about connecting with them. And if they like you, they're going to hire you. But the book, there's a great book. His name's Chris Voss, Never Split the Difference. Never, not sure if you've heard of him. He was the head FBI hostage negotiator internationally for the United States. So he learned quickly how to engage when you're negotiating for someone's life,
Right.
how to connect and how to engage and how to, you kind of figured this out ad hoc. But it's translated. So, I coach, I have an amazing coach. I coach with him, about 5 hours a week, but the benefit of that is actually I learn from Chris Voss once a month. But it's a whole, I want to, you don't really call it a strategy, but it's just a master of communication, whether you're in business, when you talk to your spouse, your loved one, your kids, whatever it is. So it's just it's a master's degree and be able to learn and listen. It's real listening. It's not you talking. Because if you're talking in a negotiation, you're generally losing. That's one of the key things that they talk about. Like if you're explaining, you're losing, right?
Right.
So it's cool. It's like I can say something to you like, hey, seems like you're having a good time talking to me right now. Instead of asking, are you having a good time talking to me? So you label and you do things to get people to open up naturally, which is pretty powerful. Instead of like, and also one thing we call people on the phone, 99% of us have been like, yes, effed on the phone. Like, hey, did I catch you at a bad time over there, Johnny? Or,
right.
You got a minute? Like your guards is up. Well, what I do is you give power for people to walk away. You give them the power to say no. No gets you to yes faster. Did I catch you at a bad time? Seems like you're busy. You sure you want to talk? You want to talk later? Do you want to talk at all? Like, no, we're good. They're giving you the power to go in and talk with them, if they say I am busy, all right, I'll talk to you later, but even on all, like everything's more of a no centric question, than it is a yes based question, because everyone's been yes really. And all the salespeople get them to yes, say 5 times, you're going to close. It's ridiculous.
5 times,
it's like what 99% of people do. But it's so powerful and it's so deep in communicating with people. It's just a thing that like 99% of people and agents that aren't learning, and I'm sure they're catching on some, but like it's just a powerful tool to have. It just saves your time in your life.
I like it.
Saves you from going out and spending 3 hours and driving to a listing that you probably shouldn't be there in the first place.
And
you'll be able to find out.
Yeah. When you shouldn't. It's interesting you say all that, because it's like really punching me in the face, only because I'm fascinated with the psychology of selling homes, selling overall. And I know one of the things I learned a long time ago is when someone asks you a question, and they go, well, do you think the owner would bring the price down or whatever it might be? There's actually an underlying reason. It's not just the price, right?
Yeah.
There's something else there. And you almost have to ask, okay, why are you asking that question?
That is what you just said there is the key to tackling up these. Not about what's coming out of my mouth right now.
I'm a
What is the
genius.
meaning, what it's saying. So if someone's talking about like, so let's talk commission, for example. Like one thing that just drives me effing crazy with agents, they drop their pants on their commission immediately. They give away their power. They don't know their worth. That's one thing that Chris says. Chris, like, I've dealt with business, like people who buy and sell businesses at like a 10%, 15% commission. It's like agents do so much more than any one of these people do this business. But yet we're fighting for our commission every day, but agents drop their commission on the drop of a hat, which drives me crazy. Know your power, know your worth, right? And plus, if people like you, they're not going to change their commission. And now if people are going to not go with you, it's probably because for commission based, it's for other reasons, right? Right. And maybe that's a bad person to work with. That's another thing we learned. It's like, I'm working towards a full-time 6% commission. I haven't dropped my commission from 5. When I first started, you're always trying to get business doing things, but I have not dropped my commission from 5, but I am going to be a 6% agent where I take 3.5 and keep 2. Most people can give 2.5 to their agent. People are like, oh my God, that's crazy. Well, that's what a lot of the top agents are doing because they know their value, right? They know your value. But what you're saying, what you touched on there is the key to all of this. So let's say you're like, wife's telling you, God, you did this and that. And it's not about what's coming out of her mouth. Like, she's like, it seems like I've deeply upset you about something.
Right.
Because it's not about that. Right. And that's what you would come with. And like, if someone's like talking about commission, like, it's like, yeah, your fee's very high. Can you work me on your fee? It's like, well, it sounds like you're worried about your bottom line. It sounds like you're worried about, you want to net the most when you sell this home. Like there's plenty of other 4% agents out there is willing to give your commissions. Like, but how can you go with someone who can't fight for them? How can you expect someone to fight for your house if they can't fight for their own commission? And that's something I lead when I'm talking about commission. Yeah. Like if they can't fight for themselves and negotiate with you on their own fee, you expect them to go in and be, negotiate the crap out of your home for you? No, it's not going to happen,
Yeah, I love that.
So, great point.
That's fantastic. That's good. That's good stuff. I think anybody listening to this show, they need to write that down, clip it, whatever they need to do, and use that. You should patent it or trademark
Well,
it.
I can't because
Start
it's
getting
been taught to
paid.
me. So, but it's something we practice every day. But I do encourage agents who are listening to this. It's like, know
Yeah.
your value. Again,
Yeah.
you've got to stand up for it. And like, there's plenty of people who, if that person's not willing to work with you based on a percent, and they don't trust you, then they don't trust you. Then it's going to be probably a shit show to begin with on the deal you're
Better
working
be a
with.
bad deal.
But the other things, like, with a 6% commission, like, people that like you, they're going to pay you that extra fee because they trust you. They trust you to get it done.
Right. So tell me about, so we talked about, kind of how you got into the business, and then your philosophy, which was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. So, what's your day to day now? How are you finding business? Markets have shifted a little bit, probably for the best.
Yeah.
And, how are you going about finding business in your area now, which is obviously a hot area. And I think everybody would love to be where you're at.
It's just, I'm very happy to be here. Believe me, it's it's why it's best market I feel like in the world. But there's no magic pill, it's another thing. It's like, I'm very tech forward. I have tracking on everything. I do ads stuff. I'm really down that stuff back because it's really, there's no magic pill. That, like, you got to do at least 25 contacts a day. This is your magic pill. This is it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no smoke and mirrors. Like, it's just all the bull crap people try to sell you. You got to get on. You just got to connect. And I've done analysis on my business. And I think 73% of my business comes referral based.
Right.
So another thing is, like, I'm investing in that. I'll give a tool, one thing that I use. It's called Client Giant. It's magic. It's a top of mind quarterly gift that you send out to your past clients. A lot of people work so hard to get that client and they don't talk to them afterwards. They don't follow up. It's like, it's ridiculous. It's like, you got to retain and you got to spend money in the back end, keep your clients top of mind. So it's a really cool company that, they research your clients, they pull out gifts, they do personalized things. It's not some crappy, something. Yeah. It's just very thoughtful. I got some clients the other day just sent me a picture. They got a personalized charcuterie board with their name engraved in it. Like, that's pretty cool and powerful.
Right.
So once these gifts drop once a month or once a quarter, then I'm getting blown up by my clients.
Right.
Like, well, then also you can do birthdays, you can do wedding anniversaries,
yeah.
you can do one-off. So to me, that's a very powerful tool. But to go back, it's like, I'm just on my phone in the morning. So in the mornings, I get my contacts in. I reach out to my sphere. And people inquiring about things. And I do some cold calling stuff as well. You got to mix it up to keep it fresh. Right. But you got to get your contacts in. You got to trust that process. My goal is to get 25 contacts a day, and a contact to me is a real estate conversation. You're on the phone talking about real estate, and you count that, and then if you're doing that consistently, you're going to make money. There's no doubt about it. Like, 25 is a minimum. If you're doing more, you should be doing more. And I'm very granular. I track everything I do, all the way down to the dial. So I know, so if things aren't picking up, I know exactly what I need to do, how many calls it'll take to get to a close, X, Y, Z. So I track everything with myself and my team. And then I go out and do my showings in the afternoon and whatever else I want to do. Because once you only have one job.
Right.
You have one job. Get your contacts in. That's it. If you have show homes, that's great. If you do that one job, then that's all you need to do for the day. Everything else will follow.
Awesome stuff. So let's talk about the future now. We're going through time here. The past, right now.
I like it.
Like it. So let's think forward a little bit. Where you people always say, where are you going to be in 5 years? Man, I don't know. Third rock from the sun could implode. Who knows? The bottom line is, where do you see yourself next 3, 6, 9? And I know you want to get to the top of that ladder. We talked about that, but where do you see yourself in the next year?
I definitely, I think at some point my goal would probably be open up my own shop. I mean, I love it here. But I think that'd probably be my next logical move. I get wooed by all the other brokerages, but the grass is not green anywhere else. I would not use any of their technology. I don't care if it's company, whoever it is. Like, my stuff's pretty much more superior than that. So it's really just probably opening my own shop be my next move. But I'm building a team right now. I do it slowly and methodically. I don't just invite people to come on and just be a part of it and see if they sink or swim. Like, I provide my team with great leads and tools to use and training. They can plug in everything I'm doing every day, right? I want to lead from the front. So I'm building that out, so I'm working on that. We've got 4 agents right now. I'm working on building a couple more, here in the next month or two. Because I just took back, I scaled everything, I put everything together so I can scale properly.
Right.
So that's it, but also enjoy my life. One thing I've learned, like, houses don't bleed, houses don't die. Like, we all know that we can be working 24 hours a day, we can work. So I've really like cut that off a lot. I work a lot less, but I work hard and focused,
Right.
but I'm trying to I'm trying to enjoy myself more. And I also expand my sphere. I'm doing things differently to mix up and meet different people and just, around me. So I joined a private social club. I'm golfing a lot more. I'm just going out and doing things like you just normally might not, instead of being in a constant routine, just to expand my sphere and meet new amazing people.
That's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. Well, I always like to, so if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what's the best way to contact you?
You can email me at scott@scottgoshorn.com. It's probably the best way. And hit me up there and we can connect if you have any. I'm happy to answer any questions, give you some more information on, anything you have interest in what we talked about today. 100%.
Perfect. Well, Scott, I'd like to give everybody at the end of the show the last word, anything we didn't discuss or anything that's at top of mind that, you just like to throw out there.
Well, look, I would just say, agents, just know your worth and your power. Like, we have the power to control this industry. Like, we can certainly get on a whole tangent about how I hate the MLS and how it's really screwed a lot of us over, and like Zillows of the world, which I was kind of happy to see that I think them and Open Door lost 42%, in bad sales, like I got a note yesterday. But we have the power. So they're taking our fish from our pond and reselling us the fish. So, I think if agents kind of come together, we can put the lights on a lot of that. So that's maybe for another conversation. But just know your power and know your worth. People who trust you will work with you. You don't need to just drop your fee just to drop your fee to do business. Like, I think that's a very bad move. And we keep our fees how we should, because that is our value, right? And there's always hacks into trying to reduce their fee. But you can see all these online shops, the Open Doors of the world, they're all closing. The discount brokerages, the Rexes of the world, they're closing because we're selling somebody's most important asset in their life. Right. Somebody making $60K a year who doesn't know shit about sales is not the best person to do it. We are. So you got to understand that. And that's why these things are falling and falling off by the wayside. Like, we're selling people's castles. And, I feel like our fee is according to it because we're the best to negotiate and do right by them.
Yeah, it definitely takes a professional.
Yeah,
and that's
100%.
Not an automated system to sell your home. I mean, that's
unless you need a fire sale and it's your grandma's home to burn.
Right.
It's like, but other than that, like,
even then, man, there's intricacies to everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I just only because I talk to such a spectrum of folks, but that's great advice. I mean, I just think you're right. Realtors working together to do the right thing that will always prevail. So
100%.
Scott, it's been great having you on the show. Look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, man, Tim, I appreciate your time. This was great.
And good luck on building that next level and knocking everybody else off that ladder.
Sounds good, brother.
All right, good talking to you.